Alright, folks, grab your coffee, settle in, and let's talk about the absolute wildfire that's raging in Cleveland right now. This isn't just another all-season storyline to scroll past. This is one of the most explosive, unpredictable quarterback dramas the NFL has thrown at us in years. I'm talking about a saga so intense it could shake up the entire league, rewrite depth charts, and maybe even change how teams build their rosters. No fluff, no clickbait. Just straight up football madness that's got me glued to every rumor, tweet, and insider report coming out of the Browns camp. So let's dive headfirst into this Cleveland quarterback chaos and figure out why it's got the whole NFL holding its breath. Picture this: Peter Schrager, one of the most connected insiders in the game, steps up to the mic on the Pat McAfee show and drops a bombshell that had me choking on my morning coffee. I was watching live, and when he laid it out, I had to hit pause and rewind. Did he really just say that? Because if what Schrager's hearing from his sources is legit, the Cleveland Browns are about to pull off a move so bold it could send shockwaves through the AFC North, rattle our division rivals, and maybe even reshape the playoff picture. This isn't just about who's QB1 for Week 1. It's about a seismic shift that could finally put the Browns on the path to that Super Bowl we've been chasing for decades. Let's rewind and unpack this insanity from the ground up. Last season, the Browns' quarterback room was a straight-up circus. Deshaun Watson went down early, and it was like the wheels fell off. PJ Walker stepped in, trying to keep things afloat. Then Dorian Robinson got his shot, showing some promise but not enough to stop the bleeding. Just when it looked like the season was headed for the dumpster, in walks Joe Flacco, veteran gunslinger, long past his prime, or so we thought. This guy didn't just stabilize the offense, he turned the Browns into a legit playoff contender. Flacco led a charge that had Cleveland fans dreaming of January football, snagged Comeback Player of the Year, and wrote a chapter in NFL lore that still gives me goosebumps. That wasn't just a feel-good story, that was a masterclass in leadership and grit. So naturally, the Browns brought Flacco back this offseason as a safety net, veteran insurance for a team with big aspirations. Makes sense, right? But then, boom, they trade for Kenny Pickett. Now, Pickett didn't exactly light up Pittsburgh like Ben Roethlisberger in his prime, but he's a former first-rounder with real NFL starting experience under his belt. That's not just a backup you stash on the bench, that's a guy you invest in, a signal caller with enough upside to make you think twice. So, now you've got Watson, Flacco, and Pickett, three quarterbacks who've been QB1 in this league, each bringing something different to the table. That's a stacked room by any measure, and most teams would call it a day. But this is Cleveland, and the Browns decided to crank the drama dial to 11. In the draft, they went full chaos mode, pouring gasoline on an already blazing fire. First, they snagged Dillon Gabriel, a mobile, big-arm rookie with serious playmaking potential. This kid's got the kind of juice that makes coaches salivate, a wild card who could be a steal. But then, in a move that had jaw hitting the floor across the NFL, they draft Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round. Yeah, that Shedeur Sanders, the electrifying Colorado QB who turned college football upside down, took a 1-11 team and made them must-watch TV. It had every draft analyst pegging him as a first-round lock. How in the world did this kid slide to the 5th round? We'll get to that in a sec. But Cleveland's front office saw a diamond in the rough, pounced like sharks smelling blood, and now the quarterback room is a powder keg ready to blow. Let's talk about the firestorm this has ignited. According to insider Ashley Bastock, Shedeur hasn't been handed first team reps yet, which threw some Browns fans for a loop. A lot of us thought this kid would walk into Berea, sling it with the starters, and have the dog pound chanting his name by June. Instead, the Browns are playing it slow, letting him grind with the second unit, sharpening his reads, tightening up his mechanics, and showing flashes of the dynamic playmaker he could become. Coaches and teammates are raving about his poise, his pinpoint accuracy, his athleticism, everything you want in a franchise quarterback. But let's not sugarcoat it. This QB room is a pressure cooker. You've got Pickett, who's been holding down the fort for 2 seasons. Flacco, the grizzled vet with a Super Bowl ring and nerves of steel. Gabriel, the dark horse itching to make waves. And Sanders, the lightning rod with star power oozing out of every pore. Every throw, every rep, every decision is being dissected under a microscope, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Here's the big question burning up every Browns fans group chat. Does Shedeur Sanders get a real shot to start Week 1, or is he stuck learning the ropes from the sidelines, waiting for his moment? Head coach Kevin Stefanski's playing it cool, preaching that everyone gets a fair shake. But come on, folks, this is the NFL, and the Browns are in win-now mode. They don't have time to babysit a long-term project, not with a roster this loaded and a fan base starving for a championship. This QB battle isn't just about who's got the strongest arm or the quickest feet. It's about identity, vision, and urgency. What kind of team are the Browns trying to beat? Do they lean on Flacco's experience and play it safe, banking on his veteran savvy to keep the ship steady? Do they ride with Pickett's potential, hoping he takes that next step and proves Pittsburgh wrong? Or do they roll the dice on Sanders' raw, unpolished brilliance, risking it all for a spark that could ignite the franchise? This is the kind of drama that keeps Cleveland fans up at night. Refreshing X for the latest updates, and we're eating it up like it's game day at First Energy Stadium. Before we dive deeper, if you're a diehard Browns fan bleeding brown and orange, smash that subscribe button and let's build this community to 10,000 strong. Share this video with every Dog Pound member you know, because this storyline is pure Cleveland, grit, passion, and a whole lot of chaos. Drop a like while you're at it. It takes a second, but helps the channel big time. Seichim keeps pushing these insider scoops your way. Alright, back to the fire. So, why did Shedeur Sanders fall to the 5th round? That's the million-dollar question, and it's got layers. Ray Fittipaldo from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette says some teams didn't even have him graded in the top 5 rounds. It wasn't just about his arm strength or his playmaking ability, which are undeniable. It was the Dillon factor. Some front offices got cold feet about the media circus that comes with Coach Prime. Dillon Sanders isn't just a Hall of Famer, he's a larger-than-life personality, and some teams worried his presence might overshadow a locker room or complicate team dynamics. Jonathan Jones from CBS added that Shedeur came off as aloof in pre-draft interviews, maybe even sandbagging the process. Some scouts thought he was coasting, not showing the fire or engagement they wanted. But let's keep it real, this kid knows his worth. Maybe he didn't QB3 for a rebuilding team or stuck in a system that didn't fit his game. Maybe he was betting on himself and Cleveland's GM, Andrew Berea, didn't care about the optics. They weren't even planning to draft a quarterback, but when Sanders was sitting there in round 5, they said, "Screw it, we're taking him." And now, he's the talk of the entire Browns organization. Schrager's report is where things get spicy, folks. He says the buzz inside the Browns facility isn't just, "Hey, the rookie looks promising." It's the kind of energy that shakes depth charts, makes veterans check their rearview mirrors, and has coaches rethinking their entire game plan. Schrager dropped a bombshell that had me floored. He'd be shocked if both Flacco and Pickett are still on the roster by week 1. Let that sink in for a second. You've got a comeback player of the year, a guy who just dragged this team to the playoffs, and a former first-rounder with years of starting experience, and one of them could be out the door because of a 5th-round rookie. Sure, it's just OTAs, helmets and shorts, no pads, no real hits. But when a coach like Stefanski, who's stingy with praise, starts hyping Sanders upside, that's a flare in the sky. Even AJ Hawk tossed out a wild theory, maybe the Browns carry 4 quarterbacks into the season. 4? That's practically unheard of in today's NFL. Most teams roll with 2, maybe 3, with 1 inactive on game day. But Schrager shut that idea down quick, saying it's more likely Cleveland keeps 1 veteran, Gabriel, and Sanders. That means someone's getting traded, and if I had to put money on it, Pickett's seat is hotter than a tailgate grill. Let's talk numbers, because Sanders is backing up the hype with cold, hard stats. In 5 open media sessions, he's completed 41 of 51 passes, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception, and a ridiculous 77% completion rate. That's not rookie-level noise, that's elite-level production. The kind of performance that should have every GM in the league scrambling for film and kicking themselves for passing on him. And yet, the NFL's old-school culture seems rattled by his swagger, his confidence, his primetime DNA, the speeding tickets. Yeah, not a great look, I'll give you that. But former Browns coach Eric Mangini put it in perspective. This is shaking his mind out from his dad's shadow for the first time. Mistakes happen, and growth comes from owning them. Sanders went public, said, "Yeah, I messed up. I'm learning." That's not just accountability. That's a leader in the making. If Cleveland can weather the PR storm that came with Deshaun Watson, they can handle a rookie finding his footing with a couple of traffic tickets. Now, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture, because this isn't just about who starts week 1. This is about the Browns betting on vision, intangibles, and leadership over draft position. They're treating quarterbacks like assets, stockpiling talent for leverage in a league where QB injuries can derail a season in a heartbeat. If another team's starter goes down in camp or preseason, guess who's holding all the cards? Cleveland. A trade for Flacco or Pickett could bring a haul, maybe a draft pick, maybe a key player to bolster the roster. The Browns aren't afraid to play hardball. They proved that with the Watson deal. As ESPN's Jeremy Fowler put it, Cleveland treats QBs like currency, pieces of value to be leveraged. They're not hoarding signal collars for fun, they're building a war chest, ready to capitalize when opportunity knocks. Here's what I'm keeping my eyes on as we barrel toward training camp. Can Sanders handle the jump to NFL speed, pressure, and complexity? This isn't college ball anymore. The reads are faster, the windows are tighter, and the hits are harder. Is there a market for Flacco or Pickett, and what kind of value could a trade bring? Flacco's a proven vet who just led a playoff run. Some team might see him as a bridge starter. Pickett's young. With first-round pedigree, another franchise might think a change of scenery unlocks his potential. And can Sanders handle the spotlight, not just the headlines, but the grind of a 17-game NFL season with every move scrutinized by fans, media, and opponents? This is one of the most gripping storylines of the 2025 offseason, folks. A fifth-round rookie shouldn't be leapfrogging proven veterans, especially not a comeback player of the year or a first-rounder. But this is Cleveland, and the Browns are rewriting the rulebook. It's just Larry else is playing checkers. If Sanders wins the starting job, the Browns look like geniuses, the kind of front office that sees what others miss. If it backfires, they'll be roasted for overthinking it, accused of chasing headlines over stability. Either way, the whole league is watching, and the stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't just a quarterback battle, it's a philosophical shift, a statement about how the Browns see the future of this franchise. Are they playing it safe with experience, or betting big on youth and upside? The fan base is split down the middle. Half of Cleveland wants Flacco or Pickett's steady hand. The other half's ready to unleash Sanders and let him light up the AFC North. One thing's for sure, this is the kind of drama we live for in Cleveland, and the season hasn't even kicked off yet. Alright, Browns fans, I want to hear from you in the comments. Are the Browns out of their minds for even thinking about moving on from Flacco or Pickett, or are they ahead of the curve, seeing something in Shedeur Sanders that 31 other teams whiffed on? Drop your hot takes below, and let's keep this conversation rolling. If you're loving these deep dives into the NFL's juiciest stories, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're building a community of passionate fans, and we want you in the dog pound with us. Share this video with every Browns diehard you know, because this QB saga isn't just about who's under center in September. It might just shape the future of how NFL teams build their rosters for years to come. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one. Go Browns!